And go. Got it. Perfect.
The most influential artist in American history is a black man from Brooklyn, right? Brings us great pride as to black gallery owners. But one of the things that we wanted to try to address, and we've worked over the last 5 or 6 years, is to be able to make his work more accessible. And so we actually teamed up with a group of collectors, Al Diaz, Alexis Adler, Hillary Yeager, Katie Taylor, Lucy Son, and they basically, and Jane Diaz, and they all came together and said, yo, we want to support that vision because John was not only a great artist, but he was our friend, right? He's someone we loved, we cared about, and we want to show the world a more authentic view. And we want the people that look like him, the people that inspired him, the cultures that inspired him to have access to the work as well. So those two, kind of streams of thought came together, the bishop and his close friends, and you get R from John, which is actually a quote from Al Diaz himself. He actually, you remember that scene with Donnie Brasco, he's like, a friend of yours, a friend of mine, and a friend of ours. And so very much Al says it to a filmmaker, Tammy Davis, in that same way, complimenting her on her documentary about Sean Paul, Radiant Child. And he goes there and he said, listen, you did a real good job on our friend John. Right, and that was his way of like kind of adopting her into the inner circle, so to speak. Right, and so there's a certain scale and a certain imagery that people are used to seeing when they see Basquiat, and this is his earliest work. This is 79, 80, 81. This is when those ideas are being formed, right? This is when those things are being developed. So you'll see imagery that you might recognize that you saw later on, or maybe in the same old graffiti, or maybe in some big scale oil painting, but you'll also see things you didn't see before, like the postcards that he famously sold to Andy Warhol, or the clothing, for example, that he actually would make and sell on the streets and outside of nightclubs or in the parks, like many artists, right? You're just trying to make ends meet, you're just trying to get your work out there. He actually had a label, if you will, it's called Man Made. And so on the back of this sweater, or pretty much any of the sweaters or apparels that he paints or when it sells, it will say Man Made. And it's also numbered, right? And this is like a 1 of 10 or 1 of 5. So even his artwork, didn't just belong on canvases, right? He treated everything he made like a work of art, and he put himself into it. And this is actually a personal sweater that he made for Alexis Adler, nicknamed Blue for obvious reasons, even though it's a yellow sweater. Alexis and him shared together. She actually still lives there. 40 years later, she bought the wall and a piece of a wall that they excavated out of her apartment.
Oh, you said excavated like archaeology.
Yeah, but that's you can't hide art that Jean-Michel did. So a lot of people didn't know that he did performance art. It's not necessarily something he got super famous for doing, but he would do that, right? Because he was always seen later, kind of these mixed media works. The sculptures here remind me a lot of like a Robert Rauschenberg Combine, for example, who was a very influential artist on Basquiat, Picasso, Jasper Johns. These are all different influences that Basquiat, read about them, books on them. And so these are all things that you kind of see into his work. Later on. But like him finding things on the streets of New York and actually taking them home and deciding on the performance.
This thing, it's interesting because the works on here was like, how was the world?
Right?
And it's crazy just because you remind me of this in history books. This is how you're able to rewrite or write history is because you still have like sort of pieces of it. It may not be the actual things,
right?
So, and not to go too far into that plays into our being able to, our position, right? And being able to try to control that narrative, right? And be a part of that. Like that it doesn't happen. We say all the time.
We got a primary source.
And
really what happens, we interviewed Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor is, someone who, let's just say she's unforgiving about what happened to her friend. She's very like, the art world, kind of, destroyed my friend, right? And more so is him dying young. She's like, she attributes that a lot to the art world. So for years, she was kind of like disconnected from the art world. But her children are very much into John. And so it kind of forced her to, like, she knew him, right?
Yeah.
They were friends, they dated, like, she's like, okay, I gotta, like, be in it for my kids.
Let me go back into the photo album.
Yeah, so it's like mid-2000s is the first time she's, like, watched a film or a documentary or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're interviewing her, and she's like, you know, see, I never watch that stuff and my kids made me do it. And you know, you got a few things wrong. And we're like, well, break it down.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and knowing that, and she's like, well, a few things, but one in particular is like this whole Andy Warhol thing. So she doesn't remember the name of the restaurant, but she's like, it's some restaurant, some fancy restaurant that's selling like wildebeest and antelope, really high-end restaurant. But you got baby like wild game hunting restaurant. Like it's expensive just to get the meat. Right? She put the batteries back and like gassed them up and got him across the street. And he goes and he, you know, hands her, you know, sells them the postcards. And he's like, all right, kid, thank you. And she's like, yeah. And he came back out and we spent the rest of the day selling postcards across the street. There wasn't no like instant connection.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is the way he makes the postcards, right? So he starts off with an actual mixed media collage, which you'll see on the other side of this wall.
Yeah.
But then that mixed media collage gets turned into color Xerox. Which is like the NFT of his time, right? Like, yeah, sure, that is what you tell the girls, right? Al is like, well, listen, bro, if you look, we have a postcard over there, and you actually see his mohawk, his widow's peak mohawk.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, he was shaping up his mohawk, and he fucked it up. And so he had to cut the whole front off. That's why he knew his hair like this. He's like, it's conflict. Because in one way, you're like the truest patriot, right? Because you believe in what it could be, right? You believe in the great experiment, so to speak. So I think it has blown up to become this like huge thing, and people think, oh, it's just John, and it's actually kind of, the reality is it's kind of less John than it is Al, because Al is the graffiti artist.
Yeah.
He's bar one. He's the guy who had a reputation in the street. Back in the day when you did graffiti, it wasn't like letters. And these pictures are they're not like high quality, but they're very personal.
Yeah.
Right? These are pictures they took or their friends took of them while they were in the heat of doing all the same old, doing the graffiti, really like building the legend, so to speak. So these are BTS shots.
This is what
Oh, yeah.
Because this is what people really want to see. Like, they're always see the end product, but not really the process,
The process.
or like the struggle.
Yeah, or the mohawk.
And it's already, but like, you know, with Al and his importance, right?
Yeah.
Like, they who knows how it would end. John wanted to be, at least from what we hear, big and famous regardless, right? Always had that ambition.